Being a business owner is not just about having an LLC and a website and working with clients. It's about adopting these mindsets that will allow you to grow your business, not just today, but in the future.
Welcome to the Smart Gets Paid podcast with me, Leah Niederthal. I help women land higher paying clients in their independent consulting businesses, but I've never been a salesperson. My background is in corporate marketing, and when I started my first consulting business, I learned pretty quickly that it's about 1,000 times harder to sell your own stuff than it is to sell someone else's. So I taught myself how to do it, and I created the sales approach that I now share with my clients so they can feel more comfortable in the sales process, get more of the right clients, and get paid way more for every client contract. So whether your client contracts are $5,000, $100,000, or more, if you want to work with more of the clients you love, do more of the work you love, and get paid more than you ever thought you could, then you're in the right place. Let's do it together. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate, review, and share. Hey there, Leah here, and thanks for tuning in. I hope wherever you are right now, wherever you're listening to this, I hope you're having a great week, making some good progress in your business, and taking some time for you. So many years ago, when I lived in San Francisco, I did CrossFit for a little while. And if you've ever done CrossFit, you know that it's like hard. It's like really tough. And at the time, I don't know, leading up to that, I had always been somebody who, I liked exercising, I liked working out. But if I'm going to be honest, I didn't necessarily push myself that hard. Anytime I would see a trainer or, little workout videos or whatever, where they're push yourself to the limit. Again, if I'm going to be honest, I'd never pushed myself to the limit, at least not up to that point. But then one day at CrossFit, we were doing this workout that was just brutal. And I can't remember what exercise we were doing specifically, but I know that I was really getting, to the limit, and I was getting tired and really slowing down. I think I was this close to stopping. And I remember in that moment that the coach yelled, "Come on, you can do anything for 20 seconds. And somehow that phrase, what he said, totally unlocked something for me. It totally changed my mindset. And I didn't stop. I kept going, I kept pushing, and I finished that exercise, and then I finished the workout. And years later, it's been a long time. I lived in San Francisco from 2011 to 2014. And so now, years later, I still think about that a lot. And that mindset shift still helps me. Honestly, I still say that phrase to myself probably once a week. Because yes, you can do anything for 20 seconds. It helped me not just finish the movement, but it really started to help me over time really start to see myself differently. Not in the moment, somebody who's doing something hard, but somebody who could do hard things, who could be uncomfortable, who could push past what feels like a barrier. Because you can do anything for 20 seconds or a minute or a month. Yes, of course, in working out, it's really helpful, right? These days I'm doing kettlebell training and I do some pretty punishing HIIT running workouts. And that phrase still gets me through. But I also say it in other parts of life, like parenting. I'll say to myself, you can do anything for an hour, like being up with a baby in the middle of the night. Or you can do anything for a few months, like get through a rough few months of potty training. Or in just life, you can do anything for a few minutes, like wait in a traffic jam that is so incredibly annoying. You can do anything for insert length of time here, even if it's uncomfortable, and especially when it's uncomfortable. So it's a mindset shift that really changed things for me. And that's what today's episode is all about, mindset shifts. Because sometimes the difference between stuck and moving forward isn't just about doing something different. It's about thinking about it differently. And so what you're going to hear in this episode is a live session I did with a group of consultants and fractional business owners. And in this session, I walk through the 3 mindset shifts that can make getting clients and running your business a whole lot easier. And I hope something in here changes something for you as well. So take a listen, and at the end, I'll come back and share a lesson that you can apply to your business right after this.
Thank you for that great introduction. It's so fun to be back here. I had such a great time last time. You guys are such a great group, and I love I will always show up for people who want to learn and be better and grow their consulting businesses. So I'm here today to talk about sales mindsets. And my goal is to give you the 3 mindset shifts that every consultant needs to make getting consulting clients easier. So what this means is that we're going to talk about first the role of sales, quotes, sale, air quotes, sales, even if we don't think of ourselves as selling. We're going to talk about how to make every business development interaction easier and more comfortable. We're going to talk about how to get out of your own way, which is type way in the chat if you feel like sometimes you just have to get out of your own way a little bit. Yes. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the shift that helps you build the business that you truly love. And in the last session, it was very tactical, very hands-on, like these are things you could do. What we're going to tackle today is ways you can think. Okay. So it's going to be a lot of like sort of reflection and mindset shifting. Where we're going to begin is just sort of for context, how I think about and how you can think about what it means to get clients. And then from there, that gives us a good framework to talk through actual mindset shifts. Okay. And what we're talking about here is not how do you get a client, because you could hustle your way to like get a client. What we're really talking about is how do you run a profitable consulting business? So join me in drawing a triangle. And the way we think about profitability, and we think about it in 3 ways. The first is financial profitability. Obviously, we all want to make money, right? But you can't, and we can't talk about profit without talking about money, but you also can't only talk about money, because have you ever been in a job or, part of your career or even worked with clients and made great money and worked way too hard for it? Tell me in the chat. Type yes. Right. So we can put it on the list. We can put money on the list, but we can't stop there. The second type of profitability that we think about is professional profitability. Doing the work you love with clients you enjoy and having a full pipeline, right? Having clients come to you for the right things. And then the third is emotional profitability. Are you having fun? Do you have time for the people and things that matter? And are you feeling optimistic about the future? And the goal here is really in the balance. Obviously the big fear is that your financial is going to go up at the expense of your professional and emotional, right? But so the goal here is to keep the balance so that you can have a profitable consulting business. And the way that we get there, is it fair to say that to get consulting clients, you need 2 things. You need people to sell to, and you have to know how to land them, right? The people to sell to part, that's the job of marketing. You have to have a marketing system to bring clients to you to fill your pipeline. How to land them, that's the job of sales. And that's why you need a sales system to help you actually take those potential clients and turn them into paying clients. And then before we even create the marketing system or create the sales system, we have to answer a few questions like, who are the best clients for you? How do we communicate your value? And how do we get you paid for your value, not your time? Right? So this is best clients, paid for value, and communicate the value. We call these the building blocks. So you need all 3 things to get consulting clients consistently, get paid for your value, so that you can have a profitable consulting business. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to share a mindset shift that matches each of these 3 parts on the building block side, the marketing side, and the sales side. So let's start with building blocks, the fundamentals. The problem with getting clients into your consulting business is that oftentimes for most of us, business development feels salesy and gross to some degree. Does that match with how you have felt about business development in the past? Like it just feels something about it to some degree feels salesy. Okay. Yes. Hate it. Yeah. And as a result, it can make everything that you might do for marketing or business development or sending a follow-up email or doing some outreach or even posting on LinkedIn, depending on how you feel about the selling or the process of getting clients, anything can feel salesy, right? And so if we're going to start to get more consulting clients and better consulting clients, we have to look at why selling sucks so bad, right? Like, why does it feel so salesy? And the problem is really in the traditional selling relationship. Okay. So if you will, join me here. I want put your hands up at about eye level. I want to see them in the screen and make like 2 levels. Okay. Okay. So imagine that this is my left hand, but I'll do it on the right side so you can see it in the screen, right? On the right side, this is you. Okay. This is you. And on the left side, this is your client. Okay. So in the typical selling relationship, we feel like the client has all the power, right? So shift your hands so that your client is up and you are down. Okay. Follow me here. So the client has all the power, right? The client has all the cards. The client says yes or no. The client sort of has your fate in their hands. And so the client is in what we call the one-up relationship, and you are in the one-down position. And obviously, this is a strange hierarchy, right? And it's the reason why it feels very uncomfortable. Like if the client has all the power, you feel like you can't push back or what have you, right? It feels very uncomfortable to be in this one-down position. Now, what we think has to be the opposite of this, like if we're going to be like, well, I don't want to, feel this way, we feel like we have to switch it, right? Where you're up and the client is down, right? You're in the one-up position and the client is in the one-down position, okay? So the problem with that is that this is where everything starts to feel salesy. Like, have you ever been in a situation where, maybe somebody's trying to sell you something and it feels really uncomfortable, or they feel like sort of an asshole, or they know what you need more than you know what they need, so that's where it feels salesy. But let's go back to you're down and the client's up, okay? The opposite of the one-up, one-down relationship isn't this. It's this. It's a peer level, okay? So hold your hands like you're peer level, okay? So what we have to do is try to adopt a peer relationship with our clients, because when you're a peer with your clients, you can set boundaries and hold to them. You can move the sales process forward. You can actually do the best work and have a great client relationship. And so we have to adopt a peer mindset. What we're talking about here with one up, one down and all of that, it's part of a hierarchy that exists in our everyday life. It's so ubiquitous that we barely realize it. But if you see it everywhere, okay? So this is something that I saw this on Instagram a while back. When he waits 3 hours to text back, so you wait 3 days, right? This is a great example of the one up, one down relationship. When he waits 3 hours, right? So you sort of feel like you're in a one down position, and so you wait 3 days in order to bring yourself back to a one up position. Stuff like this is in our world all the time. So again, the mindset shift here is the opposite of a one up, one down relationship is a peer relationship. Okay. So the mindset shift is from that one down, which can make selling feel uncomfortable, to a peer relationship. So I want to hear from you. Tell us in the chat, how does this sort of land with you? When you hear this and you sort of reflect it through your own experience, have you seen or felt this one down relationship before, or this one down position before? And what's sort of coming up for you? Molly says, the times I've had a peer relationship are the most fun. The mutual respect makes all the difference. Absolutely. It feels shitty to feel like you're in a one down position. Yes. And the truth is that a lot of us come from backgrounds where there is a very clear hierarchy, maybe in our agency or at the company. And we started our career with, they say jump and we say how high, right? And that sticks with you. You internalize that and you bring it into a business where you're actually the boss. And it's very hard to sort of shake that feeling like you're in a one down position. The challenge, the opportunity here is really hierarchy is always being negotiated. Hierarchy is always being sort of adjusted. And if you can adjust, if you can negotiate or change the hierarchy, then you can engineer a peer relationship. We're going to do a quick exercise. I'd like you to close your eyes and think of a scenario or a scene in which you are with somebody else, at least one person. You're not in a work scenario. You're just sort of out in life and there's no agenda. You're completely at ease. You are peers. Picture a scene like that from your life. So this peer, we call this your peer visualization image. The way you can use this is it's almost like, has anybody heard of power posing? Power pose? Okay. This is like a peer pose. You can close your eyes and think of this and essentially put yourself in a peer mindset before any interaction with a client. Whether you're about to write an email or you're going to jump on the phone or you're going to do some in-person work together. You can always think about this and sort of ground yourself in the peer mindset. So that's peer mindset. The second issue that messes with you, what we call head trash in your business, is that marketing your consulting business can feel weird and annoying. Even if you come from marketing or communications, and sometimes, especially if you come from marketing or communications. Have you ever, tell me in the chat, just say yes if you have ever felt like marketing your business feels a little weird or annoying. 10,000%. Okay, I see that. Icky, all caps, accurate. Okay, I'm with you. 100%. I think another layer of this is that, first of all, there's frustration around why does this feel so hard? But I think there's also a lot of us have, on some level, it feels annoying because it's like, why should I have to do this? I don't want to have to do this for my business. Why can't clients find me? Why don't they come to me based on my reputation? You know, there's a lot of, again, this is all about what we call head trash. Here's the big shift, the big marketing shift that I want us to sort of embody is that marketing a business is part of running a business. It's a part of running any business, the same way that an accounting system is part of running your business or doing client delivery is part of running a business. Marketing a business is part of running a business. And if you think about Oprah, Tony Robbins, Taylor Swift, they all have to actually market what they're doing. So people that you know whose reputation absolutely precedes them also have to do marketing. Any brand you interact with, Adidas, Netflix, JetBlue, like any business has to do marketing, even ones that you already know, because they don't take for granted that just because you know about them, that you're going to buy or subscribe or choose them over somebody else, right? And so marketing your business is part of running a business. That's shift number 2, from feeling a certain way, feeling away, as the kids say, about marketing your own business to embracing marketing as a normal part of business, because marketing a business is part of running a business. And I want to hear from you, what is coming up for you when you think about this idea that like, oh yeah, marketing a business is part of running a business. I'm going to read Chris's comment and then I would love to hear from some folks as well. Chris says, PR folks are brainwashed early on to believe that we should never be the story, only our clients. So it always feels wrong to talk about and promote ourselves. It takes a lot to undo the brainwashing. Absolutely. That's what we're doing here. You know, the brainwashing becomes hardwired and lives on as what we call head trash. It's the head trash that says, I don't want to put myself front and center. I like to work behind the scenes. I shouldn't be the story. I don't want to toot my own horn. So I'd love to hear what is coming up for you when you think about this idea that like, oh yeah, marketing a business is part of running the business. Absolutely. Has anybody ever said in thinking about your business or even out of frustration, like I can do this for my clients. I just can't do it for myself. Yes. Okay. 100%. Totally. But additionally, when your business is marketing and you yourself are not marketing, what does it say to the client? What does that say to a client, right? I can help you do this thing, but I'm not going to do it, right? Rosemary says, I feel like sales in my business is really about relationship cultivation. So it's hard to figure out how to build a genuine relationship, but also open the door for a business relationship. That is really interesting. Can I address that for just 1 second? About this idea of how do you market your business when your business is relational? when you first start your business, and this can go for a long time, your clients are from what we call your inner circle. They're like people you used to work with, people who already know you're great, referrals from those people, but people who already sort of know you're awesome, maybe because they worked with you 10 years ago or they got referred to you by somebody who did, right? And then you leave that environment. You don't get more jobs in an agency or at a brand, and you're on your own. So you're not building a base of new people who also worked with you 10 years ago. Do you see what I mean? And the truth is that that's a very expensive lead source to, work at a company for 3 or 5 years or whatever and build those relationships. When I think of marketing for your business, I think of it's really about how do you replicate the process of having somebody know that you're good at what you do, see the value you provide, and be able to trust you to do what you say you can, right? Again, in your old life, people did that by working with you and, sitting next to you and having conversations or working on the same projects. When that stops, the way that you do that, the way you replicate that process is through marketing and through social. Not by getting on LinkedIn and being like, I'm so great, but helping clients understand how you think. So in that case, it's not to just sort of market your business for marketing's sake. It's to help people build that relationship. And most people are building it. It's just sort of outside your view because they're lurking. They're learning about you, reading about you, right? The stuff that you're posting. And you might never know until they what we call unlurk themselves. They just raise their hand and say, now is the time I want to see if we can work together. But I guess that's the point. It's like marketing the business is to build a relationship. And which is why it's so important when your business is built on relationships. Okay. The point here is that, marketing your business is not something you have to do in addition to your business. It is part of the business. Okay. So I wanted you to think about, and actually you can write down on your sheet, what is something that you have been avoiding doing to market your business? Go to your sheet and write it down. What's something you have been avoiding, or many things that you have been avoiding doing to market your business? And then below that, how would your business look different if you did that thing consistently? All right, I'm seeing stating in conversations and emails that I can add value. I'm seeing LinkedIn posts. I'm so inconsistent and it always feels self-promotional. I see social posts generally, email newsletter, building a short email list of past colleagues, contacts and colleagues, and proactively send them a note. Absolutely. These are all things that can change the course of your business. And the truth is that we're no better than Oprah or Tony Robbins or Taylor Swift or Netflix or Adidas or JetBlue. This is a problem that every business faces, and we're no better than them. And if they're marketing, so can we. All right. So that's number 2. Marketing your business is part of running a business. Let's talk about then something on the sales side. We've done a mindset shift on the building block side, on the marketing side, and now we're looking at the sales side. One problem that holds a lot of people back and can make you feel just make it hard to get out of your own way is feeling like there's a right way or an accepted way to do things in your consulting or fractional business. It can feel sort of like you don't want to get it wrong, and a lot of us are type A perfectionists. Type an A in the chat if you are a type A perfectionist. Yes? Okay. So many A's. A plus. All right, you guys. See, we're in good company. We want to get it right. We don't want to get it wrong. And so it can feel like there's a right way that we just need to find out or we can't stray from. And that can really get us in our own way. So the mindset shift that I want to share with you is something we talk about a lot in my system. And it's called Make It So. Did anybody watch Star Trek Next Generation? Tell me in the chat if you watched Star Trek. We didn't have cable growing up. And so I was by God, I'm going to watch TV on like Sunday afternoons or whatever. And so I was going to watch whatever was on, and Star Trek was on. So, all right. So I'm seeing it in the chat. Captain Picard would stand on the bridge, which is the sort of main part of the Star Trek Enterprise, Starship Enterprise. And somebody would say, Captain, we need to do this, or Captain, we need to do that. And he would say, make it so. So what does make it so mean in our system, and why is it an important mindset shift for you and every consultant? It means whatever you want to do and whatever you want to have happen in your business, you can make it so. Once you say it is so, it is so. And you have the ability to put things into place in your business just because you want them there, right? Your prospects, your clients, they don't know that you didn't have this 2 years ago or 2 months ago or 20 minutes ago. And it actually doesn't matter. All they see is what you show them right now, today. And so as you think about, how you want to work with clients, how you want to price your work, how you want to structure your working relationship, I want to encourage you to make it so. Give yourself permission to do the things in your business. We talk about this a lot. And this is an example of somebody who posted in my community. She said, I had a great make it so moment for my business. I was doing some reflecting on the type of work I want to be doing more of, which will be a shift from the type of client work I was pursuing, and the amount of hours I want to be working so that I can better support my health and my kids' health. And I realized I can just do that. I can make it so with a fairly minor shift in my marketing and messaging, and I can begin moving to reduced hours as I do that. So where can you apply make it so? How many hours do you want to be working? Do you want to take every Friday off? Go for it. Do you want to require payment up front? Make it so. Do you want to split your payments over 6 months so that you have better cash flow? Make it so. Do you want to set a boundary and hold it? You can make it so. And we'll talk about this in a second, but the truth is there is no right way. There's only your way. And when you build a business based on your way, you can have a business that you truly love. I actually saw an example of this just like a couple of weeks ago. I ordered, I'm like obsessed with this cold brew called Grady's Cold Brew. I don't know if you've ever, if you've heard of it or tried it, tell me in the chat. They have these little bags where you can like brew your own overnight. And I put one in my cart, and I went to the cart to check out, and it said, we ship our nationwide liquid products Monday and Tuesday. Think about that for a second. In a world of 1-day shipping, max 2-day shipping, God forbid you have to wait for anything, right? And have it right away. This company is like, guess what? Out of the 7 days a week, we only ship on 2 of them. And they have decided to make it so. And they even put an exclamation point so you think like, it's a great thing. Again, in this everyday fast world, they have made it so. Okay. So I want to take a second, and where you've been taking notes, let's think about what is something you wish you could do, or a way that you wish you could work that you've told yourself, no one would ever go for that, or that's not how other people are doing it. And how would your business be different if you were able to do this? Tell us in the chat. Some people are sharing in the chat. I love to see this. Attract more consistent retainer clients so it can hold time for them versus standby hourly crisis. Being transparent about creative projects instead of hiding them or treating them as separate from my work. You guys, take the month of August off. Stand firm on my pricing. Yes. This is great. I love how you're thinking about this. So here's the truth. Me telling you these mindset shifts will not automatically make them happen, right? Unfortunately, I can't download the mindset shifts into your brain. But what you can do now is start to practice them. Write them down. If you're a Post-it person, write them down on Post-its and keep them near your computer or your monitor. Start to catch yourself when you allow some of this head trash to creep in. And over time, it will become part of your mental practice. Okay. So between the three mindset shifts that I shared, which one would make the biggest difference in your business? Pure mindset, the big marketing shift, or make it so? I love seeing these come through. I'm seeing a lot of marketing shift. I'm seeing a lot of make it so. This is fantastic. Okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, feelings, questions, insights. Yeah, it is a weird time. And I'm seeing, yes, this year has been harder than the last, pushing off for 6 months, what have you. A couple thoughts. Yes, it's weird. This is actually why some of the things I'm talking about today are so important. Because in normal times, in good times, you can sort of plod along in your business with the odd referral here and there. And, you could have like a business that just sort of goes along, right? Without doing a whole lot of anything. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend it. And, if you want to grow your business, I would recommend, doing something proactive to do that. But you can sort of like cruise along without doing much marketing at all or business development. And in a time like this, nobody's going to swim into your net. And so that's why getting visible, getting in front of more clients, talking about your value, all that is a lot more important. So that's one thing. Because you need to be filling your pipeline and starting conversations. Because you're right. I mean, the person who posted in the chat, like things are getting pushed. It's normal in B2B that stuff gets pushed all the time, right? Has anybody ever had maybe the project gets pushed, or your client leaves the company, or they've decided this is like a next quarter thing? Tell me in the chat. Type yes if you have experienced that, right? All the time. The truth is that happens all the time. It's just going to happen more now. And so, even for things like when you get your clients through referrals and they're very, very warm because they came to you from somebody who worked with you 10 years ago, it's not going to be a slam dunk. So you need more in the pipeline, right? And the third thing, and again, you can go to the podcast and sort of hear more that I share there. But the third thing is like, what else are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? Like when people are like, well, I don't know, what I should be doing now. It's like the only way out is through, right? Like instead of, if your natural inclination is to like pull back, you should be doing the opposite, right? It's like otherwise, like, are we going to get a job? Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, what other choice do we have? What other privilege do we have? There are people who are starting their business because they got laid off or whatever, who are starting their business today, you are so far ahead of them, right? And so embrace that, embody how you want your business to be. And now is the time to like put more into it, not less. Hope that helps. I think we have time for a couple other questions or thoughts. Well, I think when you're starting out also, and welcome to entrepreneurship. When you start out, you have other benefits that people who have been in it for a long time don't have. How many people, raise your hand or tell me in the chat if you've been in their business for a while and you feel like, well, now what do I talk about in terms of marketing? Because I'm not just announcing that I'm here or I started a business, right? It's called the messy middle, which is like when you're just starting out, your marketing, all it has to be is like, I'm here. When you're in the messy middle, it gets harder, right? So I think that you celebrate that and use this momentum and you're going to be in great shape. Last comments, thoughts, feelings, concerns. The thing that I would recommend, you have to be intentional about this. I wish that we could like write a mindset shift on a Post-it and like rub it on our head and then it's like in there. But you have to be intentional and you have to be compassionate. And so, you're not going to get it right the first time. It's going to feel weird the first time or the first 10 times, but be compassionate because part of being a business owner is this is the work. Being a business owner is not just about having an LLC and a website and working with clients. It's about adopting these mindsets that will allow you to grow your business, not just today, but in the future. So really start to embody and practice these. and over time, they'll become a part of you.
All right. So before we wrap up, I want to invite you to share what in this episode resonated with you. What was your biggest aha or something that spoke to you? And I want to invite you to post it on LinkedIn and tag me, and I'll give you a signal boost. I always love seeing first, what's clicking for you, but I also love celebrating women who are doing the real personal development work that's necessary as a business owner. So be sure to tag me, and I can't wait to see what you share. And if there's one thing I want you to take from this episode, it's the note that I ended on, that no matter what mindset shift you take from this episode, mindset shifts don't happen instantly. They take intention and they take repetition. And you might slip up. I'm sure you will. I do all the time. But when you start noticing, when you start catching yourself in those old patterns and you start making different choices, even small ones, that's where things start to shift. And those shifts can be huge. I saw this exact thing play out not too long ago. I was working with a client in our academy who had spent her whole career in an industry that it's basically just like all middle-aged white men. And as a young woman, sort of starting her career in that environment, and a woman of color, she got really good at, as she describes it, like shrinking herself down to fit in. And then later, when she started her own consulting business, she realized that she was unintentionally doing the same thing with her clients. She was shrinking down. She was deferring too much. She was holding back. And it didn't feel great. But when we talked about the one up, one down mindset shift, it gave her language to describe what she was experiencing. And more importantly, it gave her a way to shift it. So she started noticing when she was putting herself in that one down position, and she started making different choices. She started showing up as a peer. She felt more grounded in her client relationships. She was able to set clearer boundaries, and she even started charging more because she saw herself differently in the client relationship, and her clients did too. And that's what these mindset shifts make possible, not just for your business, but for you and how you feel about yourself. And the best part is you don't have to wait. These are available to you and you can start practicing them right now. So I guess the question is, which mindset shift will you start to adopt and start to practice? And I can't wait to see how it changes things for you. All right. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.